Hello and welcome back to my first Amazing History Explorer, and we are going to medieval Europe. And you may notice when we get to the map sometime when my computer doesn't freeze.
Welcome to medieval Europe, 1200 AD, youthful traveler. What's that you say? I fight on horseback? I'm a jester, not a jouster.
Thanks for that, mate. You may notice that this map looks awfully similar to another one that we saw. If you were a cynic, you might even say that the game designers had copied one from the
all their worldly possessions and
Roman
dedicated
Empire,
their lives to God.
and then just
They lived
put
together in
new
convents where they prayed and
put
helped
new
the
cookies
poor.
on it.
Monks were
Ooh.
men who took similar vows
got
and lived
first.
in monasteries.
I got that first try twice
You've
again.
only got 3 more to go.
That's rare. I'm sorry, I need to stop accidentally blowing into the mic. It's really annoying. I honestly don't mean to do it.
Nuns and
It's
monks.
Nuns lived in convents, cathedrals.
well, they could live in both, to be fair, but traditionally convents. But yeah, this is pretty much just the base of the Rome map with a different sort of
Castle. Kings and nobles built castles
different
where they could live, safe
clickies
from
and different
attack.
labels on it.
For protection, some castles were surrounded by a trench filled with water, called a moat. The noble's family and his soldiers and servants lived inside the castle walls.
I think I might have been to that
A
castle.
castle was
Huh.
where kings and nobles
There's a lot
lived.
of them.
Monks lived.
Like I say, I'm from the UK, so there are a fair amount of castles around here. So a lot of this stuff is stuff that I know. Ah, Notre Dame.
Cathedral.
Over where
The
Paris
church of a
is.
bishop was a grand
Well,
building
that's certainly
called
one
a
place to put a
cathedral.
cathedral. I think.
Hundreds of worshippers could fit inside a cathedral, and its tall spires could be seen for miles.
I mean, a fair amount of
The
this stuff
cathedral was
was kind of
decorated
like
with stained glass
true for the whole
windows,
area,
paintings
but
and
because there's
carvings.
only
A cathedral is
because
a
England's
large
quite
church,
a small
a place
country,
where
they
nuns
couldn't.
live.
They've put most of it in the main body of Europe because that's where the space is.
France. In AD 1200, some parts of France were ruled by the French king, and other parts were ruled by England. There were
Many
many wars for
wars,
land
that's one way of
between
putting
France
it.
and England.
Many, many, many wars. I'm actually quite surprised they don't have a Joan of Arc clicky or something, maybe of her being on fire or
Trading
something.
ship.
But
In
yeah,
the early medieval period, most merchants travelled
you-
only short distances by road to
when
trade
you grow up in
things.
England or in,
As time
I don't know
passed,
if
trade
you've
began
grown
to
up in France, you
thrive.
can't escape it either, but
Ships carried wine,
you
wool,
know
and
about stuff
timber
like the Hundred
between
Years'
towns
War
all over
and
Europe.
various other wars that went on
Some
there.
ships sailed to the Far East to buy silk and spices.
They tried to bring that into that new Robin Hood film, actually, didn't they? The one with Robin Crow in.
Crime and
Robin Crow,
punishment.
Russell Crowe.
Criminals in medieval
I don't know
Europe
why
were
though,
dealt with severely.
because
They were punished in public.
it's really
so everyone
fashionable
could
now
see
for
what
the new
happened
Robin
if
Hood
you broke the
films to
law.
try and put some kind
The
of
worst
Iraq,
criminals were dragged behind a horse and then
Afghanistan
executed.
equivalent stuff in with
In medieval times,
the
criminals were punished
Crusades or the
in
various
public,
wars that were
in
going on at the
secret.
time, isn't there? But I'm never quite sure it really works, but I guess, you know, I think it's kind of impossible to make a Robin Hood movie without
Farmers.
trying to make a
Most
point.
people in medieval Europe were
Because
farmers.
Well, the
A
whole
few had
story
their
is
own
kind
land,
of very
but
pointy.
most owned nothing at all. These poor
That's
farmers
why
were called serfs.
I think that's why
In
one of the
return for some
American
land to
productions of
farm,
Robin Hood got in really
serfs
big
had
trouble,
to work
actually,
in the fields
because
of a lord and give
they all
him
got
part of all
they all got
grew.
accused of being
A
communists or
serf
something
was
because of the
a
whole
medieval farmer, a
rob from the
medieval
rich,
shoemaker.
give to the poor, make everyone equal. The upper classes are corrupt
Holy
narrative
Roman
that goes
Empire.
on a lot.
In AD 1200,
In Robin
this
Hood
powerful
films.
empire included Germany, Austria, eastern France and part of Italy. It was a Catholic kingdom ruled by German kings.
Well, there wasn't really such a thing as Germany, was there? Because Germany's really quite a young country, relatively. Certainly in
Town life.
European terms.
Medieval
But then I
towns
suppose,
had many shops
maybe not in
and a
European
market
terms,
where people
considering
came to
how
buy
many
and
new
sell
countries there are
things.
from the splintering of the
Each
USSR
shop
now.
had a picture hanging outside, showing what it
I
sold.
will say,
Towns were
there's
very
this
dirty.
level and then the next
People
level and
threw
then
their
none of the other
rubbish
levels
out
are
of their
these kind of
windows
map
onto the
designs
streets.
anymore. The last two levels are more like, they just show you town or a cityscape. I think partly because
Jousting knights.
after that it got a bit
Knights
sort of
fought in
difficult to
sporting
split into
combats called
countries, maybe.
tournaments to train for real battles.
There's certainly no
They fought on
Cold
horseback,
War level
armed with
showing
long spears called
USSR and
lances.
America being all her
This
at
was
each
known
other.
as
But I guess
jousting.
that might be a bit
The
too
knight
heavy
who
for
lost had to give his armour and weapons to the winner.
kids this young. And of course when this was made, I don't think the Civil War was even that far over, so I don't think it even counted as history.
Fairs and festivals.
Although I don't know,
Many
how long does the
towns
thing
have
have to be
fairs
gone before
once
it's
or
history?
twice a
Because they
year.
count stuff like
People flock
9/11
to the
as
fairs
history
to eat
now
and drink,
sometimes, don't
buy
they? And that,
things,
I
and
remember
enjoy
that
dancing
happening.
bears, musicians,
God, I'm old.
clowns called jesters and acrobats. A fair was a time to take a break from the hard work of the rest of the year.
They do those in America, don't they? Renaissance fairs.
A jester
Lot of
was
them.
a medieval biscuit, a medieval clown.
I do love some of the wrong answers they give. I don't know how stupid they think it are. I honestly did think for a second there that the map should scroll further
Crusaders.
right, but it doesn't.
In AD 1096,
I
the
think
Pope
I was
called on
misremembering.
Christians to capture the holy city of Jerusalem.
Because when I said this was on top of
Thousands
the Roman Empire, what I
knights,
should have said was
serfs,
they've
and even
cut off
children set off to fight the Muslims in wars called the Crusades.
the right and
Many of
bottom
them died
edge
on the
of
long
the
journey
empire
to
because they didn't
Jerusalem.
want to cover the Ottoman Empire, I think. Because
Crusaders were
that's a whole
Christian
nother
knights, medieval musicians.
kettle of fish. Plus, I think they wanted to keep it kind of vague as to when this was.
Italy. Italy in medieval times was a collection of kingdoms and powerful cities, known as city-states. Venice and Rome were the most important cities.
I think the whole thing with Italy is still a thing there now, isn't it? Like,
Knights.
certainly the southern
Knights
half
were
and the
warriors
northern
who
half are
fought for their
very
king or lord.
sort of distinct.
In return, the knight was given
Sort of
land.
here anyway, but I guess you could say the
To
same
become
thing
a
for
knight,
England, like with
a
all of
boy
our
had to begin
counties
training
that are
at
all
the age of
split up.
7. He learned to fight and to be loyal and honourable.
I'm gonna have to get a
Knights were
drink before
warriors
I
who
do
fought for
before I do
their lord or
much
king,
more of these.
the serfs.
But oh well. Oh, I was watching Ancient Aliens the other night. Don't judge me. It's funny. That's the only reason I watch it. But they had this whole thing. They were trying to claim that medieval English
Religion.
commanders
In medieval
were
times, religion was a huge
fighting
part of
against
people's
Joan of Arc,
lives.
who was
Everyone
a pawn
went
of
to
the aliens or
church
something.
and had to give part of what they owned
And all
to
I
the
could think
church.
was,
People who
there
did
was
not
no
believe in God
commanders
could be
in
punished.
medieval Europe.
In
That's
Western Europe,
entirely
the Catholic Church
more
was the only
recent
Christian
term.
church.
You had the king and the knights. I'm fairly sure there weren't commanders or privates or anything of that description.
Guilds.
Hello.
In medieval towns, craftsmen and
I'm sorry.
merchants formed
I'm
organisations
in
called
a share
guilds.
flat right now. There's someone banging.
Each type of work had its own guild. For example, there was one guild for carpenters and another for bakers.
Guilds are one of those
Each
interesting
guild made
things,
sure that
aren't
its
they?
goods were of a set standard
Like
and
there are
price.
still, I suppose they were early trade unions, weren't they? Because oh, hello.
Mosque. Muslims worship in buildings called mosques.
I have to admit,
The
I
Muslims
didn't
who
quite
ruled
realise
southern
how
Spain
far
in
the Muslim
medieval
influence
times
went
built
in
many
Spain
mosques
for quite a
with
long
domed roofs
time.
and towers called minarets. Many of their
Hello, I
mosques
see.
were later
Mainly
turned into churches
because,
by Christians.
Well, they're so Catholic, aren't they, in more recent times, so you don't quite remember it.
Spain.
But this is like Dark Ages, I
In
think.
medieval times,
I don't remember.
northern Spain was a collection of small Christian kingdoms. The south
Yeah,
of
the small
Spain
Christian
was
kingdoms,
part of
and I
the
think
Islamic Empire and
I
was
can't remember
ruled by
what quite
Muslims.
happened, but the Islamic Empire did sort of pull back. I think it was something to do with the Crusades.
Muslim
I
civilization.
had a long. I
In
kept
medieval
thinking there
times,
should be more
Muslims
to.
ruled the southern
I keep
part of
thinking a
Spain
lot
and
that there should be more
Portugal.
to this game than there is. So I
The
keep thinking
Muslims
there should be
built
more things to
beautiful
click on the
palaces
maps than there
and
are.
gardens with
And it
pools and fountains.
Bugs me, but
They were also great scholars.
nope.
The numbers we use today were brought to Europe by the Muslims.
And now we have another activity to do. There's on this one, I seem to remember.
coat of
I seem to remember
arms.
having quite a lot of
A
fun
coat
with
of
this
arms
activity, but I
was a
don't know, am I going to do the
design that a knight
activity or
wore
the
on his
sticker
armour, shield and
first?
banner when he went into battle. The
The
coat of arms meant that the knight could be recognised on the
I
battlefield,
wonder if my family
even
has a
when
coat
he
of
was
arms. I've
wearing
never
his
looked it
armour and
up.
helmet.
I know a lot of old
To make a
surnames
coat
have
of
coat of
arms.
arms.
In medieval times,
Yep.
knights carried their own special coat of arms so they could be
I
recognised.
really like the sound effects on
Here
this.
you can
They're so
design your
old.
own coat of arms.
I think you can
Drag
kind
the
of tell
pictures you
how
like
old
best
this
onto each of the
game
four
is
sections
by
of
the
the
fact
shield.
that how old the computer looks. And the fact that there's no, like, you know, Game Boy or Game Station or anything. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I'm supposed to just pick 4 things that you like the look of. So, computer, and I like reading, and I like painting, and I like singing. I guess that'll count as singing. So, put that as that. And I think the sticker, and I'll be done.
Coat of
And I think I'm
arms.
nearly done with this episode.
Who would have a coat
So,
of arms? A knight.
next
jester.
time, I believe, is the Inca Empire. Yep. Medieval
Village life.
life. Don't you love that medieval artwork? I'll see you next time.